This week's episode of Attack on Titan had a lot to delve into and discuss, more than actually you'd think. Maybe some things you missed. This week we'll be talking about Zeke's dream and something you may have missed in that dream, some of the references this episode made to another popular anime series, and as well, why Marley just may be the new heroes of the story. Or are they? With that out of the way, let's get into the video. It's pretty much all but confirmed at this point that Zeke is unkillable. The guy has literally survived it all, but this time I'm a little intrigued with what went down. Zeke talked about seeing this dream of a little girl that was putting him back together. I was a little confused. Then I realized that I missed something. We've already seen this girl, but only very briefly. Let me fill you in. In episode 16 of this season, as Zeke is lying in a field blown to bits, we see this very same girl that was playing sandcastles with Zeke's body. This is important because this is now the second time we've seen this girl in the series, and when you have a series like AOT, this usually means this mysterious little girl may be more significant than we have thought thus far. We can confirm this together by simply looking at the gift that keeps on giving. Marco, a bright young lad, his time in this world was short and tragic, but ultimately a great example of Attack on Titan referencing previous story threads that you think are resolved or aren't important, but are actually a part of a bigger story altogether. This is why I think this little girl here plays a bigger role in the story. It's just, what is that role? Well, boy howdy do I have a couple theories for you. My first being is that this girl is simply a representation of something bigger in Zeke's mind. Maybe this is a representation of Zeke's youth. Maybe his representation of his undying will to live and see through the mission, to keep moving forward. Remember that quote, keep moving forward. It's synonymous with the two brothers, and it's no mistake that Isayama and the writers of the anime put that right there after that scene to symbolize something. That's why I think a solid theory here is that the girl is nothing more than a representation of an idea or a fighting spirit within Zeke. That being said though, hey, I mean, this could just be a girl from Zeke's actual past. I think I talked about this in my episode 16 breakdown video, which you can find in the cards in the top right. To build upon that, my original theory, maybe the girl is someone important to Zeke from his past that gave him something or was just there for him. Now, there is the possibility as well that this may be a girl that was killed through his means or somebody else. We do know that Zeke would do heinous things to keep his cover intact with Marley, and it's obvious that it's affected his, well, non-existent sunny disposition. We also must point out though that the girl's hair is blonde, her clothes are very plain and rough looking, and she has a bucket. Now, besides the stylish looking bucket she could wear as a head ornament, the girl does look like she could fit right in with the Eldians and Marley's internment zones. I mean, like I've stated thus far, we could just keep going on and on in this, but I do want to know what you guys think about this. Let me know your theories on who this little girl could be, which before you scroll to the comment to comment your theory, remember to beware of the spoilers. And for those who've read the manga, I ask that you hold back from spoiling or even hinting at any future plot thread or theory I discuss in this video out of respect. I'll also be moderating the comments, but I can't catch everything, so please do be careful. For previous episodes of the series, like episode 6, the Warhammer Titan, I discussed the many references in that episode alone that referenced Evangelion. These shots in particular, at least from my perspective, seem to take some direct inspiration from the series. Well, at least that's me guessing. To be honest, I actually have no idea if these things take any inspirations, but I'm gonna talk about it anyways, because I think they're interesting connections to make, despite not knowing for sure. That being said, these connections I'm about to make are like essentially saying the Beatles inspired and invented modern pop music. Like, duh. Anyways, obviously, as well, the politics and war stuff in this series do take inspiration from Legend of the Galactic Heroes, another legendary and highly inspirational series from the 70s and 80s, which is honestly mandatory viewing if you enjoyed those elements in this season of Attack on Titan thus far. That being said, it's obvious that the fight with Eren and Reiner in this episode visually took many cues from many scenes from Neon Genesis Evangelion. For example, the shot of Reiner's mauled and and bloodied Titan body, which is hard to look at, but draws direct inspiration from the scene in Evangelion where Asuka Langley Soryu's Aether unit's face is mauled and eventually ripped to shreds by the American Evangelion units. Another great reference is when Eren's founding Titan is sniped through the head multiple times by Commander Magath. This is a really cool reference to a scene in which Shinji's Evangelion unit is simply shot through the head and he goes crazy not knowing what to do. This is because pain transfers from the mech itself to the Evangelion pilot themselves. I love this reference in particular because, in my opinion, this is a scene that's actually never really referenced at all in other anime. Usually when anime pay homage to Evangelion, it's just scenes like "Congratulations Shinji," Commander Ikari stuff, or any of the many features of Asuka and Shinji's personality or character design. Looking at you, Ren Tosaka. So good on you, Attack on Titan, you're one cool dude. That being said, why is this important and why am I bringing this up? Well, I think it's important to point these things out as all of the homages so far in these episodes have been pretty strong and almost direct. Through learning what a story references, we can find deeper meaning and context in that story by relating it to other scenes. I'll use the Founding Titan being shot as an example. If we directly correlate the two scenes, we know that Eren and Shinji are both shot by the enemy and rendered helpless to do nothing. But what makes this more interesting is actually, in my opinion, how the two scenes diverge. Rather, how Shinji and Eren act totally differently. Shinji freaks out, but in contrast, Eren is calm and composed. This shows to me that even in a situation where Eren could very easily be taken out, he has grown as a fighter and learned to not react in an emotional context, especially when there are such high stakes as his euthanasia plan. That being said, it makes sense why Evangelion would be referenced in such a highly popular series like this. It's one of the most inspirational and influential anime of all time, without a doubt. So if by chance you haven't watched Evangelion, you should go check it out. It's on Netflix. Then of course there is the revelation by Commander Magath that what they're fighting for isn't just Marley, but the entire world, as the rumbling puts every person in danger. This is important to put out because there is another scene in this episode where Peak tells Gabby directly that they don't fight for Marley, they fight for their comrades. In other words, their brothers in arms. This shows to me that Marley isn't simply fighting for Marley, they're fighting for themselves and for everyone. Seemingly, gone are the days of fighting to oppress the freedoms of others. Now, they're fighting for the freedom of others, and their threat is Eren Yeager, a person that was once deemed to be the savior of the world by Paradis. That being said, that in of itself is even more mysterious now more than ever. When Onyan Kanpon breaks out the Survey Corps, and they realize Eren actually isn't brainwashed, and not only that, but Eren directly lied to both Armin and Mikasa by using truth to supplement a lie, well, I'm just not sure what's going on here. If you recall, Eren told Armin and Mikasa respectfully that Armin's fondness for Annie is because of the memories from Berthold, and Mikasa's undying resolve to protect Eren is because of the Ackerman gene, as Eren called it. In reality, what went down here is that Eren used the truths of inheriting memories of the previous Titan shifters, and Armin's fondness of Annie, and Mikasa's infatuation and love for Eren to make them believe they're the ones that aren't free, or the ones that are brainwashed. What this does is muddy the waters by sowing seeds of doubt within the two to not know if they should help or not, but as well question their whole realities. This in turn gives enough time for Eren and Zeke to meet up to enact their plan, but I think the key here is that since they now just realized the truth, they now believe that Eren's real plan is actually to not euthanize Eldia, but something else entirely. What that plan is, who knows, but this ultimately means that by default that the reason Marley is fighting is based on an assumed lie. If this is the case, then whose side really is Eren on? And what will Marley do once they find out? My guess, pizza party. This episode was absolutely phenomenal though, and I think from top to bottom, it was a great way to invite Attack on Titan back into our homes after a whole year of it being away. It's obvious Mappa used that time along with their support staff and studios to polish this episode. episode, at the very least to near perfection. In comparison, you can really tell there is a stark difference between Final Season Part 1 and Final Season Part 2 in terms of just really everything, really. Both 2D and CG animations are fantastic, and I gotta say, this was a really good episode. I enjoyed it all around. Though, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to check out my reaction to this episode and as well my review on the case study of Vanitas. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.